a man feeling the need to put on panties, a woman's underwear, and you're pretending that that's like a gender or an identity. Perfect example, Sam Brinton, the nuclear energy White House person, who literally was open about the fact that he was a sexual deviant. I mean, wearing heels, lipsticks, into pup play, which if you look into what pup play actually is, you will be shocked at how disgusting it is.
In today's video, we're covering a controversial topic raised by Candace Owens. She's calling out what she sees as hypocrisy in the LGBTQ movement, focusing especially on transgender rights and modern feminism. From concerns about transgender inmates in prisons to the growing presence of gender discussions in schools, Owens argues that America is facing an ideological battle. She believes this battle threatens family values, children's safety, and society itself. Stay with us as we break down her claims and the cultural debates shaping today's world.
So, a report from Wisconsin Department of Correction reveals that over 50% of male inmates identifying as transgender females in Wisconsin prisons have been convicted of at least one count of sexual assault or sexual abuse. Out of 161 transgender identifying male inmates, 81 of them have been convicted of such offenses, including crimes like sexual exploitation of child, rape, and sexual intercourse without consent. The Oversight Project at the Heritage Foundation obtained these records, and Director Mike Howell emphasized that men belong with men and men only in prison. He argued that housing sex offender men who claim to be women with female inmates is concerning and contributes to perceived moral decline. What do you have to say about this story?
I mean, least surprising story ever. I've been talking about this, and there's a two-prong approach here. First and foremost, the advantage of a man, you commit a crime, you commit a sex crime, you molest a child, and you know how they treat pedophiles in prison, you know how they treat sexual deviants in prison. So you say, actually, no, I'm transgendered. That's what's actually happening. Please put me amongst the women inmates who now need to accept. And the fact that the prisons are doing this, they're acknowledging them and affirming them, and that taxpayers are having to bear the expense. I can't even talk about how much that infuriates me. But the second element of this is that there is what's not being spoken about, well, it's definitely being spoken about on my podcast, is the growing alphabet mafia, and how they are now adding letters that really just imply sexual deviancy. You know what I mean? Like a man feeling the need to put on panties, a woman's underwear, and you're pretending that that's like a gender or an identity. Perfect example, Sam Brinton, the nuclear energy White House person, who literally was open about the fact that he was a sexual deviant. I mean, wearing heels, lipsticks, into pup play, which if you look into what pup play actually is, you will be shocked at how disgusting it is. On a leash, and still got the job. You used to be fearful that if they Googled you and you'd find this stuff online, your employer, you couldn't get hired. This guy got right.
This guy.
That used to be that used to be a disqualifier if you could find somebody naked and in straps and into pup play. Sam Brinton just outwardly, I am a freak and flying my freak high, gets the job at the White House.
He was a
head of nuclear waste in the energy department.
I gotta go.
No, I promise you. And then guess what happened?
He's a klepto.
He got arrested three times for stealing women's panties at freaking airports.
That guy?
Yes. And
not just one pair.
Candace,
suitcase full. I'm calling BS. A guy like that would never do something like this. Candace. What are you talking about?
What are you supposed to be surprised?
I am shocked.
Told you I'm a freak, and then I did some freaky.
On a recent episode of the PBD Podcast, Candace Owens reacted to a report from Wisconsin's Department of Corrections, showing that over half of male inmates identifying as transgender women had been convicted of sexual assault or abuse. Owens and the podcast host used this to argue against housing transgender women in women's prisons. Owens also criticized the LGBTQ community more broadly, saying that constantly adding new identities to the movement is, in her view, normalizing what she sees as harmful behaviors.
This climate of non-binary, I'm a man, but I want to wear women's underwear. They're telling you that something is wrong, right? They are saying, I am flying my freak flag high, and then we're all supposed to be shocked when they do something that's sexually deviant. And that it's mind-boggling to me. It's why it is an issue that I care passionately about. I am a mother to young children. Why does a drag queen want access to a child? Can anybody answer that big question? Okay, you're a man and you like to dress up as a woman and go to nightclubs, okay? Flying your free flag high. Now you're demanding access to read books to children. Does that not just, does it pass the sniff test, guys?
Yeah.
And then you have
I wouldn't want to do the
women
sniff
out
test
there.
with this one.
You know, it's really interesting.
We're here. We're queer. We're coming for your children. You've heard this before.
Yeah.
Candace Owens is outspoken against what she calls the normalization of sexual deviance, especially among people who identify as non-binary. As a mother, she's particularly concerned about the impact this could have on children. She questions why drag queens perform for kids and objects to public nudity at some pride parades. In her view, these actions blur the line between gender identity and sexual behavior, potentially harming both children and traditional family values.
Right? But for some reason, when you say it's an LGBTQ pride parade, you know you're going to see nudity. What does that tell you? And people are fearful to talk about this. And it's crazy to me as a parent that we've allowed this to go so far, that we've allowed sexual deviancy to be perceived as an identity, as, something that needs to be treated and loved. And who are the people behind saying we have women? It's always women.
Why do women not see the ridiculousness? And why aren't the women speaking out more about trans men in sports? Like, why don't?
Well, because those
women
aren't. Those are feminists. Those are the Chelsea handlers,
But
right? And so that's a whole different simulation. It's the moms at home are not the ones that are pushing that.
What percentage of women under 30, best guess, do you think fall into that type of ideology?
Like feminist?
Yeah. Like they love Chelsea Handler. They're cool with this. They're cool with men being in sports.
Difference if you're talking like early 20s versus end of 20s.
I'm saying Gen Z. Let's talk about that. 25 and under. That's the future.
Mm-hmm.
This is who we're trying to convince not to go down this path.
Owens has also called out transgender individuals and their supporters, accusing them of promoting what she sees as dangerous behaviors. She often points to Sam Brinton, a former Biden administration official involved in alternative sexual lifestyles, as an example of people she feels shouldn't hold positions of power. She's concerned about drag performances being seen as normal in public spaces, especially at children's events like Drag Queen Story Hours. To Owens, accepting these behaviors signals a decline in society's moral standards.
You want a percentage?
That's what I'm getting. Well, I know that you've highlighted that 20% of Gen Z identify as LGBT.
Look, here's a mayor in Burbank. He's an Armenian mayor, okay, this guy. In the classroom, he's having this guy spank him. Check this out.
This is the Burbank?
This is the Burbank mayor.
The music might be.
That's the Burbank mayor that's doing this.
Pride, proud, love is love.
I mean,
she's a strong warrior.
and he's like, what's wrong with that? There's nothing wrong with. Some of the craziest tweets came out about this guy, which is absolutely wild. When you see the GUSD folks posted his tweets.
Oh my God.
Constantine Anthony out of Burbank doing this. By the way, here's Oklahoma elementary school faces calls for firing a drag queen principal. The principal in Oklahoma is a drag queen. Can you please pull this picture for us? Pull this picture up for us to see it. So calls to fire drag queen principal Shane Mernon, also known as Chantel Mandalay.
Yeah, moonlights as a drag queen.
Which
but
is
then
scary.
also previously was arrested on child porn.
20 years ago. Yep.
Yeah, and basically got away with it because of a technicality. I looked into this case. Technicality because they found what was clear to one judge and another judge was child porn, but then when they brought the trial forth, they couldn't identify the child. And so basically they were like, you can't prove this is actually a child, right? So they had to drop, I swear, because you have to be able to prove. So if I say that this is a child, even if it's abundantly clear to all of us this is a child, you have to be able to prove that, right? So it was clear enough that they arrested him. It was clear enough that a judge said this arrest holds, and then another judge said you actually have to be able to say who that child, like we have to be able to say that person is actually a minor, and they weren't able to do this. So the charges got dropped on a technicality, right? So he gets this expunged from his record, and then he somehow gets voted in a private ceremony. They came together, no parents were there, and they made him principal 20 years later. Arrested for child porn charges. Yeah.
What city in Oklahoma? Because if this goes down
in front of children.
If this goes down in LA, San Francisco,
and moonlight's a drag queen.
Oklahoma.
And Rob, can you show the photo? Could we just all be completely honest? And all the viewers out there, look how scary drag queens are. Like some people have like a clown phobia. Look how scary that guy is right there.
Yeah.
Look. Zoom in on the guy on the right. What that looks like the penguin from Batman.
Worse pictures, by the way.
But they're scary. Like it's scary. You're
not
not
somebody
attractive.
who was arrested for child pornography, demanding access to elementary school children.
And they're cool with it. And they're cool.
I don't think anymore because the story got exposed. And not Oklahoma. I don't know if you know this, is actually the reddest state in the union.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
West
so-
Virginia, Oklahoma,
Yeah,
Alabama,
Oklahoma's
those three.
number one, the reddest state in the union. is
Boomer
Oklahoma.
Sooners.
Owens is critical of modern feminism, especially its support for transgender rights. She argues that many young women have been misled by feminist ideas and now support policies that harm women's rights, such as allowing transgender women to compete in women's sports or use women's spaces. Owens believes this focus on political correctness is putting women's safety at risk. She says feminists are forgetting the protections they once fought for, and instead contributing to cultural confusion.
California.
Read it.
So in California, here it is. California passes bill punishing parents who don't affirm
Tom, sit your
trans
side,
kids
speak
in
it.
custody battles. Okay, so if you don't affirm kids in custody battles, Elon called it utter madness. California State Assembly passed AB 957, which mandates that judges in child custody cases consider whether a parent has affirmed a child's transgender identity. An amendment in June broadened the requirement, stating that the parents must affirm their child's gender identity to be deemed suitable, okay, for the child's welfare in court, to which critics like Elon Musk, we know what happened with one of his billion children, strongly criticized the bill. Musk described it as utter madness and warned it could jeopardize parental custody if parents disagree with their child's transgender identity. So now California is like penalizing people if they don't affirm a kid's transgender transition. Are you familiar with this?
Yeah, I'm familiar with this. And what I've said is that I've stopped being outraged at California stories. It's like, to me, it's like if you're still a parent and you're raising your kid in California, outside of like you quite literally have no money and cannot leave the state, I can't sympathize with you anymore. I mean, I can't. I literally can't sympathize with you anymore. It's gotten so crazy there. Yeah. The policies that they're putting forth, that they're able to push through, they're telling you, I mean, it's basically a communist state at this point, that people are basically watching North Korea be built around them under the most extreme circumstances, and they're staying there. And then they're going, oh my God, I can't believe this is happening. It's like California has showed you what California is. It is time to pick up your children and leave California. The state owns your children already in a variety of different ways. It's ending with transgenderism. This has been going on for a very long time. You saw this with COVID. They want to put shots in your child's arm. You have no rights in California. So I am now removing your right to complain if you are still living in the state of California.
But you can also ski and surf on the same day.
Yeah.
I love how people complain about everything, Candace, when it comes to Cali, the traffic, that, and they're just like, yeah, but the weather. I'm like, it's not worth it. I'd rather sweat my ass off.
The weather in North Korea is just...
Candace Owens highlights California's AB 957 law as an example of what she sees as government overreach. This law requires parents to affirm their child's gender identity during custody cases. Failure to do so can affect court decisions. Owens argues this law takes parenting rights away from families and hands them to the state. She describes California as almost a communist state and urges concerned parents to move elsewhere, warning that these policies are part of a larger attack on family values and parental authority.
I think America is at war. I think that people always thought World War III would be something like World War II. People would be dropping nukes. And no, I think it's a silent war. It's an ideological war. I believe that there is a globalized effort to take down America from within. And people realizing after years, China is a huge part of this effort. Yep. That you could take over America without firing a single bullet. And it begins and ends with culture. And that's why I believe that culture is the biggest battle that we're facing right now.
Finally, Owens says we are in the middle of a cultural world war, not fought with weapons, but through social changes. She believes movements like feminism and LGBTQ activism are undermining traditional values and family structures. Owens claims this shift is part of a larger effort to lower birth rates by discouraging family formation and weakening masculinity, which she sees as essential to social stability. In her view, this silent war is designed to weaken Western society from within.